It's unbelievable how big BKFC has gotten. Would love to hear just a quick backstory on how you got it to this point.
Yeah, man. I've been in combat sports my whole life. My dad trained boxers, was a professional boxer. I was a professional boxer. My brother was a professional boxer, and then I started promoting fights. And I was just trying to make money, and it was tough. Without like someone that's going to give you a whole bunch of money to really make the promotion succeed, it's just like another job. And I didn't want a job. Like I wanted to be something. I wanted to make something happen. And I knew that I had to be something different. I couldn't be another MMA promotion. I couldn't be another boxing promotion. We had to create something different that like had a wow factor and that was going to be really relatable to people and get people to tune in. And I met one of the boxers that I was promoting at the time. He was an Irish traveler, and his name is Bobby Gunn. And he was telling me about how the travelers would do these fights in fields. Like they would do bare knuckle fights. Like your family wasn't like my family. And then we'd pick one person from each family and they'd fight.
Wow.
And then they would bet on it and they would like solve family disputes, but they would also make money on it. And the one thing I took out of that was this. Listen. I was like, wow, that's it. I was like, that's it, because who doesn't want to hear that, right? I mean, the best part of MMA, in my opinion, is I know you guys are very good jiu-jitsu practitioners, but in my opinion is when you're standing in the middle of the ring banging it out.
For sure, 100%.
And when the boxers are standing in the middle of the ring banging it out. So I think we took the best part of boxing and the best part of MMA and we created this sport, and I just think it's unbelievably exciting. But the real most important part about it is I just think it's relatable, meaning like not everybody in the world knows like what a omoplata is or knows what the different holds are. But there's not a man, woman, child, black, white, Chinese, doesn't matter. They all know what a bare knuckle punch is. And I think that's why it's so relatable and it resonates with the fans. And I think that's why, it's growing like crazy.
So you fought amateur and professional?
I fought amateur and professional boxing. I actually, while I was doing this underground stuff, so when I was trying to get it legal, it took me 9 years to get it legal. Like I kept pitching 28 states. They all said no to me. I went to like 12 of them 2 or 3 different times. They all said no to me. And then I would be like, screw this, I'm not doing this anymore. And then a magazine would call, like Men's Journal or Rolling Stone magazine would call, and they'd be like, I heard you're doing underground fights. Let me do an article on you. And then I was like, oh, this is awesome. People are talking about it again. Let's do it again. So then we would do underground fights, and a couple of times the fighters didn't show up, and I fought the bare knuckle underground.
You fought, that's how you start fighting because the guy didn't show up?
No. That was actually at the end of my, when I was done professional boxing, but I was trying to get this thing off the ground, and, I just always was up for a good fight. And
so you did bare knuckle fights. So you fought amateur, boxing, and couple.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, David, first of all, it's a pleasure to have a podcast with you. And probably you know that, but I think a lot of people don't recognize what bare knuckle done to MMA too, because with the marketplace having another promotion to keep fighters fighting and to keep fighters negotiate for better prices. We saw the prices of bare knuckle. We saw Mike Perry. So I think it's very important, even for MMA and combat sports in general. So thank you so much for being here and what you done for the sport. Because I think it's the same thing in the UFC the old days, right? When they were having trouble to get like licenses and getting people to tune in. But your brand now is huge. What made you so big on the bare knuckle world? Because I know there is some other promotions, like in England, they have a pretty big scene of MMA bare knuckle, but the BKFC is just the way you promote the sport is unread off on combat sports. So why do you think your promotion is way bigger than the other ones?
I think when we started this, the first guy that put a couple dollars into me, so we started this with almost nothing. We started this thing with $100,000. And, 2 months ago, we got a $414 million valuation on the company. So we started with $100,000, grew to $400 million in 6 years. And I think it's because what I call, like the starting blocks when someone's racing, we ran out of the starting blocks. We didn't walk. We didn't crawl. I said, we got to go. The production has to be unbelievable. We have to get bigger name fighters. We have to get everybody talking about this. And I think that's why it's hard for anyone to catch us. Now, there are other promotions that are doing great stuff and great fights, but they're not big name guys. They're putting on great fights. But you have to get the big name guys in now to draw the normal person that doesn't know what bare knuckle is to talk about it, to listen to it, to watch it. Because when I say listen to it, bang. Because when you hear that, it's game over. So when someone comes to a live event, it's game over. Our production's second to none. We pay good. We do everything that we're supposed to do to really grow this sport the right way. Now, as you mentioned, another option for athletes, and we pay well, but we can't overpay, right? We overpay for 2 or 3 guys that I think are worth it and are going to give us that marketing value and that promotional pop. We'll overpay a little bit for that, but we definitely pay good. We pay fair. We treat the guys right. We give them sponsorship opportunities. We give them opportunities to make money in all different ways with us. Because look, I think what's so important is I've been punched in my mouth.
Yeah.
Right?
You know
and I know
up.
what it feels like. Like, I know what it's like to get my dad to wake me up at 4 a.m. and go running and don't eat that, and to punch me in the mouth and smack me in the head and say, what are you doing? And you got to go in and, have gym wars every day. Like, I know what that's like. So I know what you guys go through. And because I know what that, I'll never be the guy that cheats a fighter, right? But if you don't go out there and fight your ass off, you're never coming back. You got to come out and fight your ass off for us, because that's what's making people tune in.
And I remember you on the press conference saying, this is not a place for pussies and stuff like that. And people are, this is fucking cowards. I think that's good. You as the head of the promotion needs to push what the message you want from the fighters, right?
Yeah, man. Look, any man or woman that steps inside of a cage or a ring, they're not a coward. They're not a pussy. But when they don't, I know it's a little bit different of an analogy, but I don't know if you're a carpenter and you're supposed to build 2 walls today, and you go in there and you put 1 piece of wood up. Should you get paid? No. So if you go in there and you're contracted to fight and you go lay down, you shouldn't get paid. I pay them, but they're not coming back. They're done. Because the reason why the fans tune in is because they're so exciting. What's so important for us is, we're so new that if we have 2 or 3 dull cards in a row, people will lose interest fast with us. If the UFC has 2 or 3 dull cards in a row, it doesn't matter, because they know they're going to have an exciting one next time or the time after that. They don't know with us because we're so new. So that's why it's so important for these guys to come out there, fight their asses off, leave it all in that ring. And the crazy thing is I bonus half the card every time almost. Almost every time I bonus half the card. Because I tell them, go fight your ass off, and you want to make extra money, and they fight their ass off and they make extra money.
Hey, since I don't want to take over here, but I'm really curious of that. Since we're talking about money, and we saw Mike Perry fighting Jake Paul, I think that's huge, right? I think how the fight coming to conclusion, and can you tell us how much money Mike Perry is making?
I can't tell you that, but I will tell you that he's making more money that he's made in. And I'm not throwing UFC under the bus, but triple the money that he made his whole UFC career in one fight, right? In one fight. And with us, he's made very, very good money. And look, we did overpay him. We did. But we overpaid him. We knew what we were doing by overpaying him, because we knew that people would talk about it.
Yeah, he delivered too, right?
So,
the guy.
But he delivered. Exactly. So at first, we jumped up. Meaning, when I say I overpaid him, I didn't overpay him for what we got from him. I overpaid him for what the market value was for him, right? Like, if he fought for another organization, he would have got, 30% of what we were paying him. But he delivered. And everybody's talking about Mike Perry, right? Like, and in all combat sports, he's a face.
Everybody's talking about him, yeah.
The Jake Paul thing, I thought was a great idea. He had 1 fight outside of his contract, and I thought that this was a great opportunity. They mentioned some other names before, and I talked to his management, first-round management, and I said, I don't like it. They liked it because they thought it was a good opportunity outside, but it just didn't make sense. There's really no lose situation here. The only lose he has is if he gets knocked dead, right? Like dead. If he loses a good fight, I don't even think it's bad for him.
But what are his chances on the fight? Do you like his chances?
Yeah, look, he's got a granite chin.
Yeah,
right?
that's what
So
I
it's going to be hard. He's got a chin, man. But again, it is a different sport.
He's bigger too, yeah.
bare knuckle, it's a different pain. Like, you still can get knocked out, but you get hit with a knuckle and you're like, whoa, what was that, right? Like, that's different than getting hit with a glove.
Luke Rockhold, he felt that, right? Do you think he felt different on BKFC? Like, I mean, because he used to fight MMA, but once Mike Perry punched him on the face and broke his teeth, I think people realized
It was different.
That's different.
It was different.
That's why
They
I
just
don't know,
didn't know,
man.
look, this is different. This isn't for everybody. It's not. But for who it's for them. Like, it's for Mike Perry. And that's why, look, I'm a little afraid of him fighting outside in a different sport because he could ruin his whole persona. He really could. But I just think he's fighting for something different. Like, he's fighting for his family. And you guys know that if you have a different why that you're fighting for, you fight a little harder. And he's fighting for his family. He's not just fighting, you know, to get another win and get a little bit of money. He's fighting to change his family. And I think that because of that, I think he's got a great shot. I mean, look, people underestimate Jake Paul a lot. Jake Paul can box. He can box. And I think it's a tough fight for Mike Perry. But I don't think Jake Paul walks all over him by any means.